Hello, Joe Black here, and welcome back, or welcome, to my YouTube. So I was thinking, I have a camera, I have microphones, I have you. And so I thought, why not make some different kind of content on the YouTube? Something fun, something engaging. So I asked the people of Instagram to put a question into a little box, in which I've collated these questions, to which I may or may not have answers. So let us begin. A little Q&A with me. Timeless JXY asks, how much of a bribe would you need to release another gin? Well, I don't need any bribing. The aforementioned gin, here for those unaware, the Joe Black Deco Punk gin, made in Cornwall with gold flakes in it. This is all I have left. I'm saving it for a special occasion because it was delicious. I don't need bribing. I need the stars to align. It was a huge undertaking because we didn't want it to be crap. And I loved it, and it was very successful. The whole thing sold out. All the bottles, something like 1,500 bottles or 1,000 bottles. It was a long time ago now. Sold out in less than 48 hours. So I'd love to do it again, but it's hugely expensive to do and a lot of work. So if the stars align, or Timeless JXY, if you happen to own some sort of gin distillery, do let me know. Danny_Tom0 asks, favorite horror franchise? Now, this was a little bit of a toss-up between Chucky/Child's Play and Hellraiser. And though both have their merits, I'm going to go with Hellraiser for the sexy, dark, sadistic nature. Of course, written by Clive Barker, who is a gay. And, one must always applaud such things, But also Hellraiser because, like Chucky, it begins fairly seriously. And a few in, it just takes a little bit of a camp turn. And Hellraiser 3, I'd like to talk about for a moment. In fact, no. I wouldn't like to talk about it. I'd like to show you.
Who keeps coming?
The demons! The demons!
Demons? Demons aren't real. They're parables, metaphors.
Then what the is that?
I am the way.
I would like to point out that this film, as far as I'm aware, was meant to be deadly serious. Well, is it good fun? The first two, lovely horror cinema, the third one particularly. Is it good fun? Yes. Do I love it? Also yes. But is it actually a good film?
Not quite.
Thank you, Pinhead. Rose.L.Red asks, favorite person to interview on your podcast? Well, this is a bit of a... There's two answers to this, really. I have favorite interview and favorite person. Or favorite people. Favorite interview, without a doubt, is the Susie Ruffle one, because I loved the conversation and where it went, and it was just... I got very emotional doing that one, and it feels very special. Also, shout out to the Kate Lister episode, because that was just joyous fun. All of them. I love that. They're all my favourite interviews, but Susie Ruffle stands out for being both funny and emotional. Favourite people, purely for the surreal nature of it having happened. Lemony Snicket, Daniel Handler, because that felt like some weird childhood, teenage years dream come true. And also Sophie Ellis-Bextor, purely because of how that happened, and I love the woman dearly. But the fact that I was sort of joke stalking her. I wasn't stalking her, but I just kept bringing her up in interviews, hopefully that it would manifest something. And eventually someone was at a party with her and brought it up, and they gave my friend their phone number. So I have Sophie Ellis-Bextor's phone number now. So that's certainly a favourite moment. Ellis Donovan, I hope I've said that correctly, it's not like L-A-S Donovan, asks, what's your favourite spooky game to play? My favourite spooky game to play was on Twitch, and it was Little Nightmares 2. Oh no. No! It was just so much fun, and I was terrified. Necky Becky, that lovely piano-playing woman with the extending neck, was the bane of my existence. But just such a fun, playthrough on Twitch. Little Nightmares 2, there's your answer. Artie Otter 475 asks, do you have a Prince Albert? I don't understand the question, but if what you're getting at is what I think, I'm not a royalist. Though I do have a Prince Harry. MadsW_011 asks, tell us about your D&D character, please. Well, I brought this up at a recent show, but at many years too late, really. I wish I got into it earlier. I've now been lured into the world of Dungeons and Dragons, spurred on by becoming obsessed with Baldur's Gate 3. My D&D character is called Cain. They are a high elf wizard, because of course, and they are an antique dealer and an artifact dealer, specializing in artifacts or curiosities of a dark, arcane nature. They also carry around a skull of their old teacher in their satchel called Carrick, who talks to him, and I thought it would be very fun for the Dungeon Master if I can ask Carrick for advice, and we roll the dice to work out whether Carrick tells me absolute nonsense because he's lost his mind because he's a skull, or infinite wisdom. So that's a lot of fun. The original Hex Girl asks, huge lover of Final Curtain here. When can we expect new music from you? Well, Final Curtain was part of an album project and still technically is. It's just very delayed because, well, I think the cheeky girls said it best.
Slowly, we began to be depressed.
So it will come eventually. I'm going into therapy now. So, you know, maybe we'll find the album from there. Drag Race _fan_Liz asks, how does your Tourette's affect you daily at events like DragCon? I never knew you had it. Well, I do have Tourette's, and that's what that little cough is. I did do a whole interview about this with the Hidden 20% podcast. So do check that out. People mostly just think I'm on drugs. I've got a cat. This is my inner saboteur. Rose.L.Red asks, dream person to interview. For those unaware, by the way, Joe Black Meets a podcast is available on wherever you get your podcasts. The dream person to interview would be the glorious, the sensational, the brilliant, the hilarious, insightful. It would be Louis Theroux. I love their documentary series. I love the idea of interviewing someone that interviews other people. And I think this one's possible. I could have said something mad, wild, out there like Tim Burton or Danny Elfman. But I think a wonderful British documentary maker is both a viable option, and also it would bring me such immense joy to be able to do it. So, Louis, if they're watching, go on. The original Hex Girl asks, would you ever dress up as a frog? Because I feel like you'd really rock it. It would be ribbiting. What have I told you about pie? Underscore the underscore cat underscore atomic asks, are we getting a Decapunk tequila one day? No, I don't like tequila. I don't know. I just don't like it. So I wouldn't want to sell something that I don't like because that feels insincere. And also, I'd like to try an absinthe. Rose.L.Root asks, do you have a pre-show ritual or a lucky charm? Not usually, no. Though, at DragCon, lots of people gave me crystals. And I'm not normally one for that kind of thing, but I carried them around in a little jewelry pouch. And they were in my bag when I was at my last show. And I put my hand in there and just sort of fumbled the crystals like, before the show. And then the show turned out actually fantastically. So knowing my obsessive nature, I probably am going to link this in my mind to I had a good show because I messed around with the crystals. So maybe that will become one. Nisha_616 asks, how are you doing? I will refer you back to the cheeky girls.
Be depressed.
But fully sincerely, I'm doing okay. I'm learning my limits, and it took for me to have a little moment to work out how I really wanted to look after myself. For anyone out there struggling, I'm told that a mental breakdown can be a plot device in the story that is your life, a narrative driver. But, you know, just do what you need to do to make yourself happy, babes. Andy_Katarina asks, what's your favourite David Lynch project and why? I'm not a massive David Lynch stan, as they will say. I enjoy his work, but I'm not like a super fan. However, I love The Elephant Man. I think it's tragic and theatrical and touching, and yeah, there's just the bit at the end in the train station, just it always gets me.
I am not an animal. I am a human being.
Fancy as Millie, or would that be Fancy as Smilly? I don't know. Asks, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? Well, as a child, I wanted to be a taxidermist without really understanding what that entailed. And I don't think I have the constitution for that in reality. And then as I got into my teenage years, I wanted to be a stop motion animator and director because I wanted to make strange little art films. And then I started doing cabaret shows, so I just became that strange little puppet, didn't I? May Leela asks, would you rather have all your hair made of teeth or all your teeth made of hair? I'd rather have all my hair made of teeth because I feel like if it grew to a substantial length, you could get a nice little when you walked, nice little jingling, jangling, all of that sort of thing. So that would be very gorgeous. Tota.vita.mia.est.tragoedia. I hope I said that correctly. Lovely picture of is that a duck or a goose? I don't know. But you ask, would you rather be an ant or a tree? I'd rather be a tree. Well, actually, I'd like to be a very specific tree.
Ouch! What do you think you're doing?
Don't take my apples. James is not an MUA asks, favourite and least favourite hairless animal? Well, my favourite hairless animal, of course, would be one of my lovely cats, wouldn't it? The Sphinx cat. And my least favourite hairless animal is a twink. Well, I do like them sometimes. Lauren Last Priv asks, how many toddlers do you think you could fight barehanded? I reckon I could fully spark out about 15 of them before they overpowered me. I've got to say that again. No, I think it's perfect. 15. I reckon I could fully spark out 15. Woo! Sleeping, oh, beauty, asks, or that sleep and go, beauty. What is a daily ritual that you enjoy? Well, in the morning, I like, having a pot of coffee and listening to a podcast. Shout out to Louis Theroux, because I'm trying to, convince you to let me interview you. So, just so you know, I very much enjoy your podcast, Louis. As you may enjoy mine. Martha Awesome87 asks, first song you sang in public? In the sort of vein of what I do now, the first song I sang in public was Missed Me by the Dresden Dolls, which now as a man in their mid-30s, maybe not the right vibe, but as a 17-year-old goth, seemed fine. First song I ever sang in public, I'm thinking of my school plays, where I played the villain once. I must remind you that this is pre-1997, because my character was called Larry Litter, and he was the Litter Fairy, and he came to Portsmouth, where I grew up, in the story, to make it very dirty. And the people rose up and cleaned up the place, and I was ousted. But I got to do a little song rap thing, and it was like, throw that trash can on the floor, add some paper to be sure. And then the chorus would go, go Larry, a mayor can't be square. Because he became the mayor. But this was a lauded performance. I became legendary in my primary school because of that. So, thank you to the casting directors. KS Atali 43. There's so many ways I could say that. Please just take that one. Which goth femme fatale is your favourite? Well,
Meow.
Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman in Batman Returns is unbeatable. Charcuterie asks, what's your favourite book at the moment? Well, I always enjoy a reread of some David Sedaris. Calypso is a particular favourite. So yeah, favourite book at the moment, I'm going to say Calypso by David Sedaris, because I reread it recently and I'm in love with it as always. Jaden _YLEX_X, I hope I said that right, my darling, asks, what coping strategies do you use to combat the call of the void? Well, when there is the call of the void, I answer. Becca Higginson, what a lovely name, asks, do you write the funny bits into your shows or do you improvise? A little bit of both. If it's in a song, it's planned. If I'm just talking, entirely likely I'm improvising. I'll sometimes give myself subjects that I'll riff on, or something will come up in the audience or something. So talking, mostly improvising. Songs, maybe I'll add the odd little silly bit in there if I'm playing the piano live. But funny bits and songs, planned. Talking, mostly just making it up. The Sean to be wild asks, if you had to be a kitchen appliance, which one would you be and why? A blender, because they're very, very useful and you forget you have it. And then when you realise you have it, you love it lots until you forget you have it again and stop using it. That's how I want to be. Becca Higginson, again, a lovely name, asks, do you have to bathe your cats? I saw a thing saying Sphinx cats had to be bathed. Oh, what timing? Yes, they do need to be bathed. And I will tell you that upon bathing a cat, you learn to fear nothing because you put a cat in a sink. And they, for the most part, do you want to pair in the microphone? They mostly are not very cooperative. Steve Dinosaur 01 asks, your favourite haunted thing you've got? Steve. I can't say. So that was a Q&A with me. I hope I answered any burning questions you had regarding any of the ridiculous things people asked me. Please like, subscribe, share, all of those sort of things. If you like it, I'll do more talking videos because I've enjoyed doing this. It's nice to do songs, but it's also nice to break it up and try other things. So, goodbye!